Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Syafiqah Binti Zahari and I'm from 3 BTMI Section 1, Scope 1. The title for the research of my FYP1 is The Effectiveness of Open Book Assessment on Fostering Student Critical Thinking, where a study was on FPTT students. For background study, an open book assessment is an assessment method designed in a way that allows students to refer to either class notes and summarize or a memory aid textbooks or other approved material while answering questions. During this pandemic, online open book assessment has been a common alternative to a traditional invigilated test or examination. The open book format reduces student anxiety and promotes higher level learning. For example, it reduces reliance upon memorization and prompts students to focus on understanding concepts and principles. The problem statement, according to Sally Cranes in 2006, open book formative assessment has highly predictive of achievement on both open and closed book summative assessment, whereas closed book assessment only predicted performance on the closed book summative assessment. According to Park in 2010, students need to acquire the academic vocabulary specific to the topic they are reading about in order to begin to understand the text and then build comprehension to higher order level of critical thinking. According to Jared van de Watering in 2018, the way students prepare themselves for an assessment depends on how they perceive the assessment before, during, and after the assessment, and these effects can have either positive or negative influences on their learning. There are three for each research question and research objective. Firstly, for research questions, first, what is the perception of students toward open book assessment in developing critical thinking? The second one is what are the challenges that students of FPTT face during open book assessment? And the third one is to what extent open book assessment support the development of students' critical thinking skill. For research objective, firstly, it is to investigate the perception of students toward open book assessment in developing critical thinking. The second one is to examine the challenges that students of FPTT face during open book assessment. And the third one is to study the extent of open book assessment in fostering student critical thinking skill. Next is literature review. According to Dayananda in 2021, an open book assessment is one in which students are allowed to refer to their notes, textbook, and other approved material while answering their questions. For closed book assessment, according to Anaya 2010, the closed book assessment method has been used for centuries in traditional institutions as a rigorous method for knowledge assessment. The next is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the intellectual discipline process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. Next is a literature review for independent variable. First is ability to apply knowledge. Students prefer open book tests to closed book tests, experience less examinations stress during open book tests, and use less time to prepare for open book tests but require more time to complete the test, according to Majoling in 2010. In 2010, for type of questions, critical thinking also intersect with debates about assessment and how schools should measure learning acquisition, according to Natella in 2018. The next one is students' learning behavior. The students have had used a more holistic approach by making broader connection in an open book assessment environment compared to a closed book environment, according to Karagianopoulos in 2010. This is a theoretical framework for this research. For independent variables, there are student learning behavior, types of questions, and ability to apply the knowledge. For dependent variable is a developing critical thinking skill. Next one is proposed hypothesis for the research. For hypothesis 1, student learning behavior positively influence the development of critical thinking skill. For hypothesis 2, type of questions positively influence the development of critical thinking skill. The next hypothesis is ability to apply knowledge positively influence the development of critical thinking skill. The next one is research methodology. Firstly, the researcher used explanatory research design and Likert scale in this research. The second one is for research methodology, researchers use quantitative methods, which is a questionnaire, and primary data and secondary data, which is a survey for primary, internet search, report, article, and journal for secondary data. In data collection method, researchers use a validity and reliability data. And the location for the research is the researcher target UTEM students, which is student of FPTT, and we target 300 students of FPTT. And research strategy for this research is questionnaire design, sampling design, and pilot testing. For data analysis method, researchers use descriptive analysis and Pearson correlation analysis. This is the Gantt chart for FYP 2 for next semester. That's all from me. Thank you.